Latest on this tropical disturbance that's approaching the Philippines. It's still not a tropical depression yet, but it's got winds of 25 miles an hour and a pressure of 1005 millibars as of 10 p.m. Philippine time this January 19th. The threat continues to increase for rainfall potential. As you can see, it's well into the upper reaches of major status, almost extreme on the CDPS scale. That makes the system, even though it's not yet a tropical cyclone, a stage 4. Extensive damage possible regardless of whether it becomes a tropical cyclone or not. Here's its current location, 7.6 north, 131.2 degrees east. As you can see, in between Palau and the Philippines themselves, but the storm is starting to make itself felt on the eastern islands. 319 miles from Caraga, 334 from Bislig, 417 from Surigao, these are all on Mindanao, 491 miles from Tacloban, and 532 from Cebu. So, still no warnings in effect at this time, as you can see here, but we're ready and waiting to put on the warning map any warnings that do arise as Pagasa issue them, but still pretty quiet at this point. Winds aren't really going to be the main issue. It's going to be a huge amount of rainfall. The areas that we're eyeing up is the same region really that we were worried about during Usman. You can see the pink areas there being the most heaviest rainfalls there over time. And as you can see, it's pretty much situated and stalls over Samar, and possibly southern Luzon could be getting huge amounts of rainfall over the next few days. One or two models saying that it could end up being above 800 millimeters in isolated portions of southern Luzon. In general, widespread amounts of 200 millimeters or more are to be expected. Sea surface temperatures are certainly warm enough to sustain this system further south, 27 degrees Celsius, and through the Philippine Islands around 27 or 28. So looking at the wind forecast, you can just about make out some green areas off the coast of Mindanao. That is tropical storm force winds expected on Sunday, moving through Leyte or Samar into Monday, and then the storm weakening and then moving towards the southwest. A pronounced kink in its forecast track over the next few days, which we'll be able to see in more clarity shortly. But you can see towards the later part of this week coming, in terms of storm conditions, there won't be any. It's only going to be in the next 2 or 3 days. And these are the current chances of tropical storm force winds now. So we're up to half chance in some of these locations, Surigao and Tacloban, 30% in Naga and Cebu, and many of the other parts of the Visayas region could receive tropical storm force winds. That is probably the main area, as well as northern Mindanao. So you can see the two models there, GFS and HWRF, in a better agreement than in the last update, both of them calling for a tropical storm, possibly mid-range tropical storm status. Wind shear is going to be low for the next 2 days before it begins to rise, and sharply rises in the case of the HWRF. On the left-hand side you can see the forecast tracks there, both models calling for that pronounced kink in its track, moving towards the northwest, then sinking towards the southwest, passing through some more of the islands before moving down towards the Sulu Sea. This is what the satellite imagery has been looking like in the last few hours. The center of the system is located displaced to the southeast of all of that convection, so it is looking again a little bit like Usman, in which we're going to see the worst of the conditions displaced to the northwest of the center of the system, and you can see it's not too far away from the Philippine Islands already. Next 12 to 24 hours we'll begin to see some significant rainfall falling over some of those eastern portions of the Philippines. You can follow Force 13's outlets, the website force13.com, with the latest. You can also find our YouTube page. You're probably there already, but if not, subscribe if you haven't so far. You can also find our Facebook page, Force 13 all in text, and it's at Force 13 on Twitter if you'd like to get in touch with us on there. And if you wanted to feel like Christmas every other week, you can also become a patron on the project. You can help Force 13 become even better in the process. Find out more information at patreon.com/Force13 to see what benefits you could have from that. With a special thanks to these patrons, too many to read out individually, but we thank them very much for their support through the project over several months now. You can also find Force13 on Skype and Fool13 on Discord at extension 9094 for tropical weather chat.